Joining us now is Hillary Fordwich, President and founder of Strellmark. Hillary, it is brilliant to speak with you as history is unfolding as we speak, with the US and Israel carrying out Operation Epic Fury, an operation that is putting Americans first, decapitating the head of the snake, the world's largest sponsor of terrorism, Iran, and giving the Iranian people a real chance of freedom. God bless President Trump and the brave servicemen and women carrying out this operation. We have heard from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and he has honoured the 6 Americans who have tragically been killed.
Fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives. As the president warned, an effort of this scope will include casualties. War is hell, and always will be. A grateful nation honors the 4 Americans we have lost thus far and those injured. The absolute best of America. May we prosecute the remainder of this operation in a manner that honors them. No apologies, no hesitation, epic fury for them and the thousands of Americans before them taken too soon by Iranian radicals.
The best of America. Hillary, there is, of course, so much to unpack. We are hearing Democrats upset about this historic, brave, courageous operation that has already taken out Iran's supreme leader. I mean, what a significant achievement that is, as well as 50 Iranian leaders. And there's also many on the so-called woke right who don't seem to understand what the US is doing. They claim that this is a new war. They claim that the president doesn't know what he is doing. Of course, Donald Trump has a plan, and I'm sorry that he cannot tell the world every single step and move that they will be taking. This is, of course, high risk. You know, no one is disputing that, but hopefully high reward. Hillary, can I please get your reaction to the events of the past few days and the wild response we're seeing from woke politicians, some in Hollywood, and, of course, the media?
Well, Gabriella, you said a lot of things there, all very well said and appropriate. I actually would like to comment with regard to those on the woke left that are usually for women's rights. And haven't they been realizing that there are women all across Iran that were pulling off their hijabs and throwing them in burning fires and dancing? And they were protesting. This was weeks ago, months ago. And Gabriella, the Iranian regime under the Ayatollah was actually shooting protesters, not only when they were protesting, not only those women who were burning their hijabs, but going through hospitals, ward by ward, shooting them, the protesters in the hospital. It is purported, I don't have this as a fact, but purportedly about 32,000 of their own citizens were killed. Where were the Democrats then? Yeah. Don't they believe in women's rights? I thought that they did. So I find it actually, more than anything, actually rather hypocritical. And then I've always been very proud to be British born. I'm now an American by choice, but proud of both of those countries. I must say now, Sir Keir Starmer, sort of as I think was it Pete Hegseth who said today, or Rubio or Trump, I can't remember which one. I think maybe it was President Trump who said about our former allies worrying and clutching at their pearls. Sir Keir Starmer sounded so strident and so determined to be so wishy-washy and so indecisive, feeble and feckless, basically pandering to the Muslim base in the UK because initially he would not even let the American services use British bases as a launching point for these attacks. Now, of course, typical of Sir Keir Starmer, it didn't take long to predict he'd do a U-turn. Now he is letting them use the bases. But Gabriella, he could not take a stand. He prevaricated. He tried to please both sides and basically condemned this. He said that there have been 20 terrorist attacks that were thwarted in the UK, and Gabriella, still, he could not back President Trump. Shame on him.
He is absolutely pathetic, Hillary, and we're going to play some audio of Sir Keir Starmer in just a moment. But before we do, can we just focus a little bit more on those Democrats? I completely agree that some on the woke left and people who claim to be feminists are all of a sudden upset that the Iranian people are on the verge of liberation. It makes absolutely no sense. We've heard from so many. We've heard from miserable people such as Kamala Harris, who of course has no credibility, and AOC, all angry about this, saying this is not the way to deal with the most destabilising force on the planet. Let's look at Ilhan Omar. I mean, in the days leading up to this attack, Ilhan Omar attempted to attack America, as she does, posting on X, Iraq was attacked by the US during Ramadan, and it is sickening to know that the US is again going to attack Iran during Ramadan. The US apparently loves to strike Muslim countries during Ramadan, and I am convinced it isn't what these countries have done to violate international law, but about who they worship. Now, she was, of course, community noted, and users quickly pointed out that she's factually not correct there, Hillary. Can I get your reaction to Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, I actually suggest that she takes some history lessons, number one, because she was totally and utterly incorrect. There weren't any other attacks during Ramadan. That's number one. Number two, since she really doesn't like the US, I would actually venture to say she hates the US, she could go back to her own wonderful country. She shouldn't be in a country and representing Americans and then actually being against our leader, against our policies, and against the attacks that we've taken. We are liberating, as we just talked about, we're liberating women, but we're liberating the people of Iran. Yes. And I do think that's very important that President Trump has said. He said, we've answered your call for help, and now it's up to you, the Iranian people. So just to be a correction on what some of the criticisms have been from Democrats, that this is regime change. No, it's not. We are enabling the Iranian people to free themselves. And I actually have a very dear Iranian friend, and she's been here since the Shah was deposed. She's an older lady, and she is going to go back to her family in Iran. I think you're going to see a lot of Iranian talent returning to that nation.
And we are seeing people right around the world celebrating this. I mean, celebrating the hopeful freedom for the people of Iran. Celebrations are taking place in New York City, yet New York City's socialist mayor, Zohran Mamdani, posted on X condemning the US's attack on Iran that led to the killing of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He wrote, today's military strikes on Iran carried out by the US and Israel mark a catastrophic escalation in an illegal war of aggression, bombing cities, killing civilians, opening a new theatre war, he said, And he goes on, but he also says, additionally, I want to speak directly to Iranian New Yorkers. You are part of the fabric of this city. You are our neighbours, small business owners, students, artists, workers, and community leaders. You will be safe here. I mean, Iranians in New York City, they are celebrating this. They are taking to the streets, chanting, saying, thank you, Donald Trump. And where was Mamdani? He said nothing at the start of the year when Iranians were being slaughtered in the worst massacre of our time, Hillary.
You're absolutely correct. And they were protesting. They were actually celebrating in New York, Washington, D.C., where I'm based. They were chanting USA, USA, waving Iranian and American flags, and the same thing in Los Angeles. And one of the biggest points I'd like to say, Gabriella, it feels like the whole world has gone topsy-turvy. And in our very eyes, under our eyes, we are watching history. We're watching a new realignment of the world. Why? Here we have an American mayor, New York City, which used to be the bastion of capitalism, criticizing this. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, the Arab countries are siding with Israel. Mm-hmm. Who would have ever thought also you would see Iranians and Israelis celebrating? They were having parties in the streets celebrating the death of Khomeini. Who would ever think Israelis and Iranians would celebrate at the same time, that Arab nations would come to the support of Israel against Iran? Mm-hmm. And by the way, who are the allies of Iran? Supposedly China and Russia. They've been silent. Iran is now isolated.
No, it's incredible. Now let's return to UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. It's interesting, of course, his first public message, he was so quick to declare that the UK is not involved in this. I mean, it was just so pathetic to watch. But then, of course, admitted, well, yeah, I guess we do support America, taking out this murderous regime. This is Sir Keir Starmer's latest message about whether or not the US can be using British bases.
The United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose. We have taken the decision to accept this request to prevent Iran firing missiles across the region, killing innocent civilians, putting British lives at risk, and hitting countries that have not been involved. The basis of our decision is the collective self-defence of long-standing friends and allies, and protecting British lives. That is in accordance with international law, and we are publishing a summary of our legal advice.
I mean, have you ever heard someone so uninspiring? Okay, we got there. The US can use British bases, but he is so scared of his base. It is so pathetic to watch. And listening to him, it's painful. It's like he's making this announcement to a library or something. He just certainly doesn't sound like he has any authority.
Well, I have to say, Margaret Thatcher would probably be rolling around in her grave, listening to him prevaricate, do his U-turns, and actually betray one of the greatest allies the UK's ever had, and betraying the special relationship. I think it's better late than never. Obviously, he's come to his senses. And the thing about Sir Keir Starmer is, if you don't like his policies, just wait 5 or 10 minutes and he'll do a U-turn anyway. And that's exactly what he's done here. So, as I said before, he looks feckless and he looks feeble.
Now, NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte stunned Democrats coming out in full support of President Trump's action in Iran.
My thoughts are with the service members, the US service members who made the ultimate sacrifice over the last couple of days. And let me also say that the commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world, President Donald J. Trump, I really commend what is happening here. Taking out Khamenei, taking out the nuclear capability in Iran, but also taking out the ballistic missile program in Iran. This is crucial. And what I see in Europe, I spoke with all the key European leaders over the weekend, is widespread support for what the president is doing, and also making sure that when it comes to logistics, access, defending key US interests in Europe and in the region, the Europeans are really stepping up.
There we go, Hillary. A bit more of that, please.
Oh, absolutely. So Mark Rutte, just a little bit of background for all of our global viewers. I used to head global business development for KPMG based in Amsterdam. So when he was the Dutch prime minister, he presided over a coalition government. He is the master of bringing together disparate parties. And I think he's very good at seeing the future. He's very good at inspiring in terms of what needs to be done, not just for today, but what needs to be done for posterity. And that's what he did and what he brought to the Netherlands. And I think he's doing that for the EU right now. And I think it's great. And certainly Sir Keir Starmer should listen to him and take a few lessons from him.
Absolutely. Hillary Fordwich, president and founder of Stroma, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Gabriella. Thank you for having me.